So then I think the question is, when do we start introducing those conversations? Because again, like I said, when we were growing up, it was more clinical. I mean, you shake the boy's hand, you get pregnant. Do not talk to boys, you'll get pregnant. So it was made a taboo in that even interacting with the boys or vice versa, for the boys, you do not do that because you'll get pregnant. And then the whole aspect or the whole concept of, again, sex, this is seen, don't think about it, don't talk about it until you're married. So for most people, you grow up fearing the other sex, and then you also grow up fearing that word sex because you think you were told this is not a good thing, this is a very bad thing. So Fatma, then, so when do we introduce such conversations?
One of the things, Winnie, that I myself, whenever I go for teachings,
Yes.
I normally say that our parents didn't cheat us.
Okay.
That was a mechanism
They were
using.
Okay.
As far as our minds were concerned,
Yeah.
as far as maybe our exposure was concerned.
But do you think it worked really?
It really worked, yes. When did you know about it?
Okay.
So the other
right.
thing is that when that was that for that moment, and
Yeah.
remember, one of the things that my friend here has said is about the parenting.
Yeah.
Because you want me to talk about sex with my child. Me, myself, as a parent, I can only give what I
What
have.
you have, it's true.
And remember, in parenting, we have two key factors, nature and nurture.
Yeah.
You get it? So nature, let's leave it alone.
Yeah.
Let's take for nurture.
Yeah.
For nurturing, I must have the information.
Oh, yeah.
For me to nurture.
nurture.
So first and foremost, this parent that we want him or her to tell them, before even we say about the time, is she or he equipped to be able to take through the way she's saying it, that you started from a very tender age with a different approach.
Yeah.
You are a boy, you are a girl, you go like this,
According
you go
to
like
what they
this.
can understand
Yeah,
at
by
that
the time, like now, our children are by 8, 9 years, already they are getting their menses.
Absolutely.
So will you wait for 10, 11 years to teach her, or will you start it even by 6,
Before,
as early
yeah.
as 6? So the time, every time is ready for you to talk to your child as per the age and the understanding.
Yeah.
You get it? Because even if you tell a girl that you don't play with boys, you don't sit like this with boys,
Yeah.
you know, you are not telling him or her that boys are bad, but really when you're doing this, there's always a way to do it.
Yeah.
So the issue of that feeling, you know, and that's what it's even bringing more issues. Because we normally feel that we don't want to bring our children the way we were brought up by our parents.
Yeah.
And you know, if you look at where we are coming from, people normally kind of rebuke where we are coming from. And where we came from, the morals that were there, the show, the culture, because culture, people think an old show with those hangings and a shuka and a kiondo. No. Even here, you have your culture in this station. Culture is a formation of where you do things because you have to mitigate them. So the culture that we are going to bring in from these children from the time they are young, it will shape up them up even when they become parents.
Okay, now here's my question. Fine. Talking to them about these things is important, and it helps in one way or the other. But now the truth of the matter is, they will grow up, they will have these feelings, and most likely, more often than not, you might not be there, all right, when they are experiencing these feelings and they don't know how to handle them. So then how do you, aside from just talking to them about sex in general, you are a girl, you are a boy, this is not what you're supposed to do, this is what you're supposed to do, and all those things, again, based on the age they are and what they can understand. But then how do we prevent, because again, from the numbers, I mean, 7 out of 10 girls, they're very sexually active. And I was talking to some of them, especially in university, and they will tell you, yeah, us, we would rather use condoms, use contraceptives, you know, the morning after, the emergency pills, they would rather use that, and they abuse it as compared to having to be pregnant, all right? So my question is then, so after the conversations, after all those things, then what do we do to prevent, you know, cases of early sex, and then eventually, of course, because now we're not giving them condoms, we're not giving them condoms in this table, they get pregnant, you know, and all those things. So then how do we, you know, prevent these things? And then the biggest question that most of them will ask you, Fatma, is that, so when do we have sex? When is the right time to have sex? Yeah, so let me get your response on the same. What do we do to prevent cases of, you know, early pregnancies and all those things? Because they will have sex, especially when you're not there. And Fatma, I think you'll tackle that aspect of then when is the right time to have sex.
Okay. I think it's very important for parents, like my sister Fatma said, you might not have you are not equipped.
Yeah.
It is very important for parents to instill values in their children.
Okay.
It is very important. And then also the issue of spirituality. When you have values and spirituality instilled in your children, then these children, they have a motive in life.
All right.
They have a motive.
Okay.
And value and spirituality is not something you just bring from there and keep it here. This is an everyday journey.
You're right.
As you walk, you go every day. And when you, as a parent who is equipped, you walk with these children, if they have challenges about sexuality, believe you me, they will come and discuss with you.
Okay.
And you will be like, there is always, because of that spirituality.
Yeah. And I like that because, yeah, in one way or the other, it gives one guidance, all
Yes.
right? And people will have that knowledge of this is right and this is wrong.
Yeah.
The truth of the matter is we're natural beings, right? And,
Yeah.
and again, you know, feelings of, like wanting to have sex, it's innate, it's in us, all right?
Yeah.
So then what do they do? Especially when that is what they are feeling and don't know what to do. Because I like that aspect of telling them as it is. Do not sugarcoat, do not, just tell them as it is.
Yeah.
But then again, so what do they do when they are feeling? All right, that aspect of this is what I'm feeling. And yeah, what do I do? Where do I channel this energy? Because there's a lot of shame and stigma, associated with the same.
Okay, before you start having sex as a teenager, and when you're having that feeling, when you start talking to the right person, and that is your parent, there are alternatives, because we are told that when you should, as teenagers, you should not be alone with a young man. You should not be alone.
Yeah.
Every time you're going for outing, as a parent, monitor, have like your friends, let the boys be there, the girls be there. The boys, they should know this is my sister, I have to protect her.
Okay.
Just that aspect. And for me, I still go back to values. When this boy is a honest boy, and this girl is a trustful girl, trustworthy girl, this issue, you will start seeing this girl has some values in herself. She cannot lose it. And in her upbringing, the spirituality she was given, that individual practice that she has,
She'll not go away from it.
she will not go away from
Okay.
that. And
All
it
right.
will always keep her on the right track.
Okay, you know
Yeah.
what? That is really interesting because now, and I'm pretty sure you've seen this, where even as growing up, I know of a family who are our really good friends or family friends, and the parents are very strict and very, so I can say they were raised up well, all right? And the majority of the children are actually girls. But do you know, most of them actually gave birth when they were still young. All right. Despite the fact of, value, spirituality, and the parents being strict and talking to them about all those things. So I think that is why I was really insisting on then when you are feeling, because you see, as an adolescent, things are happening in your body and you have no idea what this is all about. So then what do you, or how do you channel that? So that is, I think, a debate that, nature again versus nature. So then, when then do we start having sex?
I know, Winnie, that's what you want to hear when we start.
It's a question that so many people ask. They're like, okay, so now you're telling us don't do it.
Yes,
so
don't
when
do
do
it.
we do
because
it?
What I'll tell you,
you're
not going to do it, Winnie, because you're my child, you're my daughter, you're my son. Because number one, sex, people take it to be, it's not a compromising of a leisure.
Yeah.
It's not an entertainment tool.
Yeah.
It's not an entertainment tool. Number two, sex, for it to be there, it has to be provoked. You must provoke it. Out of nowhere.
Provoke.
Provoking.
Yeah. In this context.
In this context.
Yes.
Okay. For me as a youth, for me to think of now I want to do it, I I must be exposed to something or two. Number one, either viewing. Number two, hearing. And you know, for girls,
What about
it's
feeling?
listening. Look, for girls, it's true you're feeling.
Yes.
But where are you coming from with this feeling?
Okay, all right.
Because
okay.
you have to understand where you're coming from with these feelings. Okay, you want that. Yes, we're going to give it to you right now.
Yeah.
And is it going to help you? Because this is not an entertainment tool.
It's not an entertainment
Number
tool,
two,
yeah.
what it will happen once you start it. I'm not talking about whether you should start
Wait, or
now.
not,
Because
okay.
number one, sex creates bond.
Yeah.
And number two, it creates commitment. And you realize that's why we are having all these issues in our universities. You know, that's the age you're talking about, the youth.
Yeah.
You realize somebody's hacking another one. Why do you think they're hacking one another? Because already they have involved themselves in this act without knowing that there's another part of
more that they
consequences.
create,
So where the issue of when should it start? You know, as well as you know what I would say, it's just after marriage.
Yeah.
Because that's the time that you are ready for you two, because you cannot be two together. You'll have support of the family. You'll have support of the church or the mosque or wherever you go. You have the support of your colleagues. So it will be something that you even have a leaning to a shoulder to lean on.
Okay.
So if you start it at a youth, whom are you going to tell? This is what I'm going through.
Yeah.
And then there's this thing. Can we test it along the way?
Yeah, test
So
drive,
testing
you know?
test driving. Test driving now. This is another bring that even is bringing issue in our
In
marriages.
the marriage, yeah.
Because
Okay.
now you're like, there's somewhere I went.
Yeah.
It was
It
warm
was
and
this
tender.
way.
You get it.
Okay, then, fine. Yeah, I get what you're saying. But then again, of course, we'll also talk about then the consequences later on. We touched a little bit on, you know, unwanted pregnancies, abortions, and of course, early marriages and all those things, which again, we can also talk about then the psychological effects, and especially in marriage, because like you said, when one gets married and they have done this, you know, for quite a while, they know how it feels. So, you know, they'll be like, no, this one is not, you know, it's a lot. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. But for now, in terms of fine. So it's important to talk to them about all those things and get practical a little bit, because for us it was, you remember when we were in school, there was this clip where the people will come and talk to you about, you know, some different, you know, diseases, STIs, STDs, and they will show us very graphic pictures, and we were really, really scared about it, and you know, and all those things. So then the question is, fine, after talking to them about, you know, all those things and how it's important to prevent, and, you know, don't do it, don't do that, then contraception, I know this is a question that has, brings about a whole, Fatma is like, don't even go there. Don't
9
even.
years, really. 9 years contraceptive.
Yeah, give a person
Surely.
a contraceptive. But you see, at the end of the day, I think in terms of then for the girls, I think like we said earlier on, girls are more vulnerable as compared to the boys. And this is, I think, for a very long time, we've had that aspect of saying no. A girl cannot say no and someone takes it for no. But then again, how do we teach them to even say yes in some instances where they can say yes and it's, you know, giving consent, and in some instances it's not. Other cases of, you know, rape and all those things, so they also come to play. It's not like, fine, they have the morals and the values and all those things, but then something happens, you know, this person is raped. What happens, you know, after that? So it's a lot, you know, associated with the same. So then, aside from the parents, there's that aspect of, you know, you can go to church and talk to your pastor, you can go to, you know, access to contraception and all those things. Do we give them? Do we not give them? Where do they get them from? In the hospitals, some of them are actually, you know, that aspect of stigma. You know, that aspect of stigma to them. So then what do we do in this particular concept where, fine, someone says, I tried, I could not, and I engaged in intercourse. So then what next? Zam. What next? They will tell you it happened. I didn't know, it just happened. And yeah, so what do I do? And they come and tell you, because remember, like we said, let's develop an open door policy where they can always come to you and talk to you about anything. So in the event that it happened,
Okay. If it has already happened, you sit down and counsel this young mind.
But of course you're in shock as a parent, first of all.
You are in shock. You are in shock. But if you're a parent who is prepared for this world of today, you know, as much as I am doing my best, there are accidents. there are
It's
accidents.
true. And you want to always be there you know,
Yeah.
to guard and protect
And
your child. Yeah.
if somebody gets into an accident, you don't rebuke that person. You don't start saying, you are driving carelessly.
Yeah.
You don't know what really happened.
Yeah.
You don't know the circumstances. And human is not 100% in everything we do.
Yeah.
So if this happens, sit this young mind down, talk to them, and then have the issue of abstinence now.
Does that work in this generation? You know, does that really work? The concept of abstinence.
It does work.
It
Okay.
works.
All right.
It works. You know, everything depends on the approach.
Yeah. True.
Everything is approach. For example, if you are very sick, the way you approach your sickness makes you worse or get
Or
better.
better. You're right.
So, in this issue of this young girl who was engaged in a sexual activity and has regretted, it is a very good turnabout.
Yeah.
So, for it's a good lesson for this
For the
girl. It's
person,
not a
yeah.
time you condemn, but there is a language you use that this girl will feel, I truly stepped off, and I really need to step back. And stepping back, I have been told there is this abstinence. We call it secondary virginity.
Yeah.
This abstinence, I'm going to walk this route. And from here, I will really know that, yes, I am not a virgin, but I am going to abstain from sex until I get married. And there are so many pros and cons you must discuss with this mind. You just don't go like, pa, pa, pa. These our children, you must handle them with care and caution.
You are right.